When I was maybe 12 or 13 years old, I was playing some RuneScape after school. It was probably a nice day outside just because of where I lived in California, but I was inside just grinding away. I think I was doing something in Edgeville at the time, maybe standing at the bank trying to decide what to train, like one does in RuneScape. We RuneScape players tend to think about what we're going to do more than we actually do it, right? Anyway, I was standing there preparing for something, maybe chatting with someone, when I had this thought. What if the servers shut down tomorrow? What if the game ends? Why am I sitting here wasting time thinking about getting a rune defender or slayer or herblore or rune crafting or killing hill giants or whatever when the game could just end? A knot formed in my stomach, and for the first time, I quit RuneScape right then and there, because if the servers can just shut down whenever some higher up or private equity firm or whatever wants them to, why would anything I do in the game have any meaning? How could I keep playing a game where at any moment all of my hard work could be cut off or cut short? I didn't know it then, but that was my first brush with nihilism, and it wasn't my last. Right now, RuneScape 3, the modern but somehow less modern version of RuneScape, is having its first ever Leagues game mode. Leagues is a temporary game mode that lasts only 2 months, but it has absolutely cracked experience rates, higher drop rates for rare loot, and these things called relics, which offer incredible buffs to your progression and your character. Well, most of them are incredible. RuneScape and old school RuneScape are already dopamine farms, but Leagues cranks that up to 11 with XP rates so high you are constantly getting shiny new things, fireworks, and flashing skill icons as even your slowest skills become manageable and even enjoyable. But just behind the facade of shiny experience and drops is the void my 12-year-old self couldn't help but stare into. The game mode is temporary. At the end of the 2 months, all of your accelerated progress is wiped in exchange for a few rewards in the main game, and you will never see that version of your character again. Leagues ends. And so I feel my nihilism again. My second brush with nihilism came shortly after the first. When I was in junior high, a song came out from my favorite band, The Classic Crime. The song was called The Happy Nihilist, and I found the song beautiful because that experience with RuneScape still haunted me. It still haunts me. The song goes like this. I can't play it because of copyright stuff, but it starts like this. I am a happy nihilist. No absolute truth does exist. When I decide to shake my fist, I only got myself to blame, because we're all players and life's the game. The song then goes on to tell the story of someone who was self-reliant and self-taught, but as they contemplate, as they read, as they dream, being a happy nihilist becomes more and more and more difficult, until by the end of the song, this is what the happy nihilist says. I was a happy nihilist. Now I'm wondering why I exist. Though the song itself seems to be much more about a nihilistic approach to truth and trust rather than my struggle with time, endings, and meaning, I still identified with the song powerfully. When I was playing RuneScape, I was the happy nihilist that ignored or hadn't noticed the void. But when I saw the void that we stood over, the possible end, I couldn't look away. I was the happy nihilist, but when I looked at the void that is the inevitable end of a live service game, I wondered why I exist. If it can all just end, why exist? Why is there meaning? Is there meaning? These are the questions that RuneScape and a song from a Seattle rock band left me with. In RuneScape and a song, I discovered that I am one of those unfortunate souls distracted from life by the void. I had a professor in seminary say that he thought there were some people in the world just cursed with an unyielding draw to that void, to the idea that the world is ultimately meaningless. The famous Russian author Tolstoy was in view when he said that, but the statement resonated deeply with me. When I read Tolstoy's Confessions in that class, all I could think was, yeah, this guy gets it. And all of my classmates were uncomfortable and saying, what is this guy on about? I feel the same way when I read the Judeo-Christian wisdom literature in the Bible, the book of Ecclesiastes, which says that everything is meaningless or obscured from human knowledge. Everything is like chasing the wind or trying to hug a cloud. You'll never quite grab hold of it. And that guy gets it too. And that's a strange place to be. Full disclosure, I am a Christian, and if Christians believe anything, it's that there's hope of eternity with God who has no beginning or end, something that lasts forever. But here I am with this Christian hope, but I've felt since that first brush with nihilism that I stand on a glass floor over the very void that Runescape or any MMO or live service game may one day find itself in. I struggle to find meaning in things that don't last. I struggle to see purpose in most temporary things. Of course, sometimes that doesn't matter. Something can distract me from the void beneath our feet, but while many people seem to live life on an opaque floor above this void, I can only look down and see right through it. Leagues has brought this existential dread back for me. I can see the void clear as day 2 months from now. It inches ever closer. This account will end. Why would I go questing on this account when I can go questing for my main Ultimate Iron Man for my main RuneScape YouTube series? Every quest I do on this account is a quest I could have done on an account that would at least last longer. Why should I do this weird herb burning strat on this league character when I'm gonna have to do all of this over again and for much less experience on my main ultimate? Every second I play on this account is a second I could spend on something else that would last longer. I could be working on my main series. I could be working on my super cool mod for Baldur's Gate 3. I could be working on professional development for my real job. I could be doing so many other things. But the problem gets worse. Why do real world things either? Leagues is temporary, sure. This account has only 2 months to live, but life is temporary too. Life does not last. We're all players, and life's the game. We don't get the buffs that our League's characters do. We don't get enhanced experience in real life unless you're some kind of protege. We don't get relics that let us chop down trees and they instantly turn into housing for us millennials. We don't get a player-owned fort. But what we do get, just like we get with this short Leagues, is an opportunity to improve ourselves, to practice things that we enjoy. We have an opportunity to have fun, to make memories, maybe even make content like videos or pictures or sculptures or any art or something. We have an opportunity to do that all for ourselves, and we can even do it for other people. Somehow, in life and in Leagues, we get an opportunity to make things that last out of something that doesn't. And isn't that the whole human journey? A moment only happens once, but you can stretch that moment into more with memories in all of their forms, for good or bad. And you aren't the only one that can make that moment last. Everyone around you can turn a moment into a lifetime. Now, this still isn't ultimate meaning to me because even memories fade. Pictures will eventually be unreadable. Stories can be lost to time and history. But the glass above the void has to be made out of something, and it only has to last long enough. At the end of it all, this is our lot in life and in Leagues. All we can do is enjoy it while we have it. I'll see you all on the next excuse.